Hello and welcome to my review of the Otterbox Defender Series for the iPhone 5. The review should be equally as useful for iPhone 4 owners because from what I've seen they're very similar. On the box you have some information. It tells you that it's drop resistant, scratch resistant, dust. I highly disagree with that from my experience after only a couple of days. Just a heads up, you need to be very careful because there are a lot of fakes of these out there. I mean, they say there's barcode on the fakes, but I've seen a few fakes where they've started to use the barcode on it as well. But I would say that be very careful. A lot of people assume that they're just because they're buying from Amazon or an order is fulfilled by Amazon that it's safe, and it's not, because if you look at this product on Otterbox's website, it's $39.99. If you go to Amazon, you can get it for £12. It says fulfilled by Amazon, but if you look closely you could see that it's actually being sold by a third party who only give their stock to Amazon to sell on for them, and Amazon don't do checks. You know, if you buy a pair of jeans from there and they've spelt DK and Y wrong, then I'm pretty sure Amazon will pick up on it. But as far as how to tell the difference between a real one and a fake one of these, Amazon won't be looking into that too much until they get some complaints. So a lot of people complain on Amazon about the quality of these and the fit, and that's usually down to them being fakes. An example would be this case right here, which is the inner shell. If you buy this from Amazon, you'll notice that when you put your phone in, there's just a little bit of give when you rattle it up and down. There's just a little bit of extra space, and with this is an official one bought directly from Otterbox's website. There's none of that. When you put the phone in, it's very snug. But now let's get on with the review. Other than the case itself, in the box you literally get just this, which just a little fold out card. Tells you how to put the case on. There's videos on their website if you get lost, even though it's really not that difficult. Other than that, this is the outer shell. It's made out of plastic. Make sure that you don't push on this because it will snap off. There's a little piece of plastic on the back to protect the Apple logo from scratches. There's nothing on the camera side, which is probably a good thing. This is the rubber outer shell which wraps around it. We'll go into all this in a bit more detail. And you also get this belt clip here, which on the back, it's very difficult to do, but with a little bit of force you can stand this thing up, which is kind of useful. The angle isn't very good unless you're square on with it. You're probably going to have a pretty poor viewing angle. This also snaps on the front to give you a little bit. Ouch. This also snaps onto the front of the case as such to give you a bit more protection on the screen if you're putting it in a bag. So when you initially get this, you got a bunch of arrows on the back. Let me just get some lighting on here. Okay, you got a bunch of arrows on the back which tell you where you need to clip out. And previous to this, I had another case which cost £20, and it actually ended up, as you can see, causing little scratches on the bottom of my phone. So when you get a hard case, that's always the issue. With rubber cases you don't get that, but with a hard case that's always the issue. If there's anything gets in between the case and the sides, or if they don't sit 100% flush, it's going to end up causing little scratches to your phone. But this is rubberized back here, and when you put the phone in and you snap this front part on. Okay, so when you put the phone in, it's protects the front, protects the Apple logo on the back, and when you shake it, there's no rattle sound at all. The phone fits perfectly, which if you bought one of these off eBay or from Amazon from a third-party seller, even if it was fulfilled by Amazon, the order, you probably won't. You'll probably realise that there's a little bit of a rattle. One complaint that I have, and a few people have picked up on it, I'm not sure if you can see it by the camera, but if you measure the side of this to the side of the speaker, it's almost half a centimetre more on this side than it is on this side. So when you're looking at this thing square on, this cutout here is actually not centered correctly. It's a little bit off. And when you're paying £40 plus £5 postage for a case, you expect them to have it cut out pretty square on. It's pretty, you know, I thought I was just being a bit anal about the whole thing, but a few people said to me, you know, is this one of those fake ones? Because it doesn't measure up correctly on this side. This whole cutout here is just a little bit off center. It's no big deal, but again, when you're charging that kind of premium, you'd expect them to get something like that right. Once you put that on, you clip this on here, which I will try and do. Okay, you need to push it in on the sides all the way. You have a little rubber stopper which protects the home button. At the bottom you have two flaps. One is for your headphone jack. Now I will say, this does cause a little bit of space. I will say that it works fine with the normal Apple headphones as you'd expect. I do have in my car a little jack which comes up and goes 90 degrees to the right. Absolutely fine. Works fine with the Beats. However, my III headphones have a very curved 3.55mm jack. So when I put that in, it's kind of a very tight fit. So bear that in mind. And over here you have protects the port for the charger. Again, this is why I think this thing isn't exactly dust resistant. Dust can easily get in the side here, and it does do very quickly work its way under the screen. And just to emphasize on that, this phone I literally got out of the box, put this case on, and within half an hour it went in my pocket once, came back out. There was dust worked its way under the screen. And it's not the kind of case where you can just easily clip off and quickly give it a rub, because it's a bit of a pain, and it surprised me that they put that on the actual box. Also, dust can easily work its way around the sides here. They're by no means airtight. On the side here as well, only other little complaint would be this. I was used to flicking it off and on with my thumb whilst it was in my pocket without having to look, but you can't actually reach it with your thumb at all, no matter how hard I try. So you have to turn your finger sideways and put it on vibrate and take it off. No big deal, but if you're used to just quickly flicking it off and on with your thumb, it's going to turn into a two-handed job in order to get your finger in on the side there in order to do it. Case is made out of hard rubber, the outer layer, as I said, and it's very resistant to impact. You know, it does definitely gives you a sense of safety with it. There was other little issues as well. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up, but just there, the seal is not, there's a tiny bit of rubber missing from the seal, which again, you're talking about a case that costs £45 with delivery. You wouldn't expect little stuff like that to happen. This is the belt buckle that comes with it. So in order to protect the front of the case, you can clip it on like this. Put it in your bag, it gives you just that little bit of extra protection. And if you put it on backwards, you can use the clip to stand it up if you want to watch a film or something while it's on a train. This belt clip does rotate. Yeah, so that's a belt clip. As far as the screen itself goes, as I said, it does have a screen protector. I don't think it does much at all in order to take away from the screen. It's fine. It's very finger print friendly. Unfortunately, it takes on fingerprints even easier than the iPhone screen, believe it or not. Other than that, the one thing that I will say is when you're playing games, like when you play, say for example, Plants vs Zombies, when things are down at the bottom, say there's an icon down here that you need to press, because of the way this is ridged around, a lot of the times I find myself having to tilt the phone like this and push it like that, because some of the icons are at the very bottom of the screen. Some of the power-ups that you use for your plants are at the bottom of the screen, so I have to do that, because if I do it like this, it won't register. And also this here is slightly curved, so if you're pressing something right at the bottom here, you won't be able to do it like you normally do by just pressing down. Because of the curvature, you have to tilt your finger up a bit and push it in that way. So bear that in mind. It does kind of get annoying if you're playing games which have lots of stuff at the bottom and you're quickly trying to do something, you press it and it's not responding, and you have to remember, oh yeah, I have to tilt this up and tilt my finger a bit. Again, I'm not saying these are major points, these are make or breaks for the product, but I'm just trying to be as thorough as I can be. Bulk-wise, I'm actually surprised. It didn't add too much bulk to the phone. I thought it would be a lot worse than it is. I unfortunately will be sending this back because to me it's dust gets under the screen way too easy, which is a major problem for me. I'd rather not have to constantly clean out the dust from underneath the screen, and if I paid $20, $15 for this item, I would be happy with it, but just the fact that it costs so much, I expect a little bit better. And one other thing as well, I mean, this case, it doesn't exactly make your phone look attractive, and when you take it out of the case, if you just give me a second, as I stated, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Okay, when you take it out of the case, you know, the phone it does look pretty beautiful, but you have to place some of the blame on that on Apple for making their phones so scratch, so scratch friendly. I mean, at the end of the day, they're not scratch resistant at all. The iPhone 5 I had before this one, which unfortunately got lost, got scratched up so easily. I mean, this is pretty much a brand new iPhone, and I'm happy to say that this case, I put the phone in it, I've rattled it around a lot, and this case hasn't caused any scratches whatsoever on the iPhone 5. So it's not, and you can get some expensive cases out there that you take the case off and you're shocked that your iPhone has multiple scratches on the side. Just Google it if you want to see some more images other than the one I provided with my old phone. Overall, for me, I would rather have a case that didn't block out so much aesthetically of the iPhone 5 itself. As I said, the little stuff like that not being on center didn't really bother me, but the stuff that did bother me is especially the fact that when I use my phone for games or films or even pressing the spacebar during a text, you sometimes just have to tilt your finger off, and I find myself making a lot more mistakes as a result. And again, I mean, your phone will look like this as opposed to look like this, but that's not Otterbox's fault. They could have made their case a little bit more attractive, but that's mainly down to Apple and making their products so damn ridiculously fragile in order when it comes to scratches and dents. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them. If you are going to buy one, please remember, if you get one and the phone's not fitting properly or it's missing the hologram, it's more than likely going to be a fake. If you're paying 20% of the value for something, it's more than likely going to be a fake. So if you are going to get one, go to Otterbox's website. Luckily, to Otterbox's credit, they offer a 14-day money-back guarantee, even if you've opened and used the product. That is the end of my review. If you have any questions, please leave it at the comment section below.